It was a traumatic experience. And I remember my mom used to pray with me all the time. And she, started me out with Psalm 23 from a very young age. And so there was something that occurred that was violent that occurred in front of me on that day. And I remember praying out loud to God and not knowing that that's what I was doing. But in hindsight, I remember that. So I've always had this relationship with God. And I would say that was developed, because of my mother's relationship. And so then I started to build my own. When I was 15, I went to her, told her that I wanted to be baptized. And so that was something that was not projected or pressed upon me, but it was something that I wanted to do at that point in my life and in my journey here on this earth. And by the time I hit 18, I started professionally recording, have been writing, little raps and rhymes since I was 11. Poetry since I was 7. I always wanted to be a published author. And so by the time I hit 18, I was recording in the studio. I was secular at the time. And then a couple years after that, I was in this group with a couple guys. When I was 20, I was a junior psychology major at Tougaloo College, which is located in Mississippi. And shout out to the HBCUs, JSU. And so I was in a car accident. I was riding with the guys. We had just recorded a song earlier that week. We were at a barbecue. It was Easter Sunday. We were going to go get some copies of the CD, burn them, and bring them back to, give them out to some folks. And so we did that. And on the way back, went ahead, here comes a car and boom, you know what I mean? And so we never made it back. I ended up in the hospital in the intensive care unit, declared clinically brain dead with a severe traumatic brain injury and spinal cord injury. So I remember praying to God at that time, right before the car hit and collided with us. And so what happened is hit the vehicle that we were in, and I was sitting behind the driver. We were in a Jeep, and it started to flip. Of course, I was unconscious at that time. I think I became unconscious upon the first impact. And I was told that after the Jeep flipped a couple of times, and when it landed back down on the street, it landed on my side too. And so it's 4 of us in there. I'm the only female in the car. It's 4 of us, and I'm the only one who gets injured. The only one who was sober. You know what I mean? The only one probably that was calling on the Lord's name at the time when I saw it happening. But I knew it was coming, and God had shown me some things and prepared me. And so I'm just thankful to be here because he restored me. He healed me. He brought me out of that. And so there's no way that I was going to go back and use my gift in the way in which I had been using it prior to the experience and prior to the accident. And so I stopped writing altogether. And then 9 years later, I was sitting in the parking lot of the Salvation Army. My sons were in the after school program there. And I remember looking up to the sky and praying, to God and asking God what he would have me do. Because I didn't feel fulfilled. I had done everything that the doctor said that I would not be able to do. And I had went on to get my bachelor's and my master's degree. My grandmother had just passed and stuff. And so I had a lot of free time on my hand, or at least I felt like. And I just was like, Lord, I've done, pretty much everything that society says that we should have done by this age, and college, marriage, all of that stuff, children, working full time. What else is there to this life? And I heard his voice say, you're going to start back rapping. And I'm like, this the devil talking to me. I thought I heard,
himself.
I heard from God. I thought I heard from God. So what's really going on? And he continued to speak to me. And he said, this time I'm going to send you to the nations. You're going to spread the message of Jesus, through rap. You're going to spread the gospel. And I'm like, what? This is a thing? I never heard of it before. So God really, truly called me. I never saw a gospel rapper, had never heard of a gospel rapper. Didn't know it was a genre, a culture. I didn't know anything about CHH at the time or nothing like that. And I was obedient. You know what I mean? We had a conversation that day. I prayed about some stuff. I asked for some things. If you calling me to this and if this is what you truly wanted me to do, then you got to lead the way and guide the way. And he started to just show me so much. You know what I mean?
Man, that's an incredible story. First of all, thank you for sharing that. And that's wild. I have a question. Like after you had your car accident, like how was your heart towards God? Like did anything change? Because like you said, I was the only one sober. I'm the only girl in the car. I'm the only one that was hurt in this way. Like, like were you okay? Or did you have to do some work to kind of get, yourself back into communication,
Definitely had to do some work. I realized and I knew that I was not the same person. Wanted to be, at least I thought at that time. Now thinking back, I'm glad for it all, counted all joy and all things work together for the good.